entrepreneurs from our UNWTO Innovation Network and startup competitions to pitch and to let us know a little bit more on how they are achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. And as part of the STI Forum 2023, it is more than a pleasure to set tourism as part of the key response towards sustainability with innovation, entrepreneurship, and for sure with the technology as well. So thank you very much for all of you that are watching us in YouTube, and let's kick off. Today, we will have the opportunity then to meet our executive director, Zorica Urošević, who is ready here to deliver some welcome remarks, and especially as she is a real passionate about the Sustainable Development Goals. Dear Zorica, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Jose, and good morning in the US, and good afternoon to all of the other people present. It is a real honor to address you today at this side event within the framework of the 8th Multi-stakeholder Forum on Science, Technology and Innovation for Sustainable Development Goals. We are going to discuss the importance of key role, innovation, and new technologies are driving the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And we have amazing teams that are going to showcase very impactful solutions. Tourism is a significant economic sector contributing to job creation, infrastructure development, and overall economic growth. According to the figures from the World Tourism Organization, in 2022, we reached 917 million international tourist arrivals, 11% more than 21. And we know that the sector represents 3% of global export and 13% of total services export. This is in 2021, while in 2019, it was 30% of services export. However, beyond the economic benefits, the tourism sector has an even more significant role to play in achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. As we know, SDGs are blueprint for a better and more sustainable future for all in developing and developed countries. And tourism can help us reach these goals by promoting economic growth, reducing poverty, supporting cultural heritage, and environmental sustainability. Tourism has the potential to create jobs and support local economies, especially in developing countries. Prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, the tourism sector created 330 million jobs worldwide, providing livelihood for people around the world, supporting local businesses, and providing a boost to other sectors such as agriculture, transportation, and construction. So these are the indirect impact of the tourism economy. After 3 years of strong recovery, the UNWTO estimates that the tourism sector could reach 80% to 95% of pre-pandemic levels in the year to come. We are as well an essential tool for poverty reduction with the application of new technology, innovation, and education. Tourism provides the opportunities for communities to benefit from the economic benefit of tourism, which in turn can help reduce income inequality. By promoting sustainable tourism practices, we can ensure that tourism benefit local community and reduce the poverty gap. We take pride in emphasizing our efforts in supporting small and medium enterprises, considering their strong presence in the sector. And according to the International Labour Organization, a majority of tourism enterprises are SMEs of less than 50 employees, of which 30% of the total workforce is employed in, and it have been most of them to 9 employees. Despite the size of the travel and tourism sector, we do not receive the most funding for startups, as observed by recent McKinsey report. It states that in the past 15 years, the travel and tourism sector received around 1% of funding for startups across all industries. Yet from 2020 to 2020, over 27 billion worth of investment were poured into travel companies. Through the initiatives of the Innovation, Education and Investment Department at UNWTO, we have been able to support startups related to tourism from all over the world. Around 300 startups have been prized by our startup competition and challenges and have received support from the organization as well as its partner. I just want to recall that during the crisis, we were the first international organization creating a challenge on healing solutions. For COVID, we came up with solutions that then were adopted 2 or 3 years after during the crisis. And I think this is really to be underlined. Today, we are joined by startups that are exceeding in their practice, offering new solutions linked to science, technology, and innovation that will share with us how they are contributing to the sector and to the SDGs. By harnessing innovation and entrepreneurship in tourism, we can create a more sustainable and equitable future for all. Let us work together to promote sustainable tourism practices and achieve the SDGs. Thank you very much, and I really look forward to discover you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much to our Executive Director, Zorica Urošević, for this truly welcoming and truly interesting remarks, highlighting especially that those investments to be done in innovation are still required, not only for recovery, but for building the future in all over the world. Now, please let me introduce our Director of Innovation, Education and Investments, Natalia Bayona, who would like to deliver her words for this event at the STI Forum.
Hi, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here today with all of you. First of all, remember that 4 years ago, when our Secretary General, Surab Pololikashvili, came to the UNWTO, he decided to include innovation, technology as part of one of his strongest pillars. Of course, today, the UNWTO has at least 5 priorities inside this house: innovation and digital transformation, education, investments, sustainability, and of course, added value jobs. Today, we would like to start this amazing conference with how these pillars can help us to create a better society, how these pillars can help us to create a better tourism sector. Why innovation is crucial? Innovation is crucial because it's the power of youth. Thanks to innovation, we have the power to give the voice to the most youngest generations that it has. Different solutions when technology is part of the new ventures. When we talk about technology, remember that the startup ecosystem is key in order to talk about a sustainable innovation. When I talk about the innovation inside the UNWTO, as you know, we have 4 programs that we're running today: the startup competitions, the innovation challenges, the tourism tech adventures are our key innovation forums, and of course, our innovation network. Thanks to those 4 programs, we have more than 10,000 startups that have applied to our competitions from more than 150 countries. The more used technologies are based on artificial intelligence, big data analytics, digital marketing, where augmented reality, virtual reality, and Internet of Things are crucial. These technologies has been really mature. Nonetheless, we have a lot to do. From the 100 subsectors of the tourism sector, only the innovation is going to 3 subsectors that are mobility and transport, e-commerce, and of course, hospitality. But the question is, Where are the innovators in gastronomy? Where are the innovators in health? Where are the innovators in manufacturing? Remember that when you build a hotel, where you build an amusement park that is part of the touristic chain, you need manufacturing goods, you need towels, you need fruits, you need a lot of things to create a new experience. Where is the innovation when it comes to meetings, incentives, congresses, and events? We need the power of youth, of the youngest entrepreneurs, of the SMEs, and of course of the startups to create new technologies and to help us to innovate not only in these three hotspots, if I can say, that basically are 50% of the whole innovation of the tourism sector. We need to diversify a little bit more on the different subsectors in order to have a 360 integral and complete innovation. Then, thanks to our programs again, our startups have raised more than $240 million. These only in the last 3 years. And this, once again, is aligned with joining efforts between the public and the private sector. I can say that thanks to the power of partnerships, we can, Amadeus, MasterCard, Globalia, Wakalua, the governments of Portugal, Argentina, Colombia, Spain, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Macau, among others, have been supporting these programs, and thanks to them, today, innovation is a reality inside the UNWTO, and the connections has been done to create more than 100 pilot projects and more than 300 mentorship programs. In that way, we are helping the smallest to grow. So innovation today has the challenge in not only in helping the tourism ecosystem to get more mature. The biggest challenge I see in the touristic innovation ecosystem is with the SMEs. As you know, tourism, the touristic chain is created by different actors, but 80% of those actors are small and medium enterprises. And unfortunately, during COVID times, they have received a lot of funds for surviving, not for investing in technology, not for investing on innovation. This is the moment where we need to empower the SMEs, to help them and to mind the gap in order to have a sustainable sector where everybody can use technology. That's why inside the UNWTO, we created the UNWTO Digital Futures, a program that was launched during the last UNWTO General Assembly, which aim is to bring accessibility and to bring access to new technologies to the small and medium enterprises. It's really easy. You just need to go to the UNWTO website, click on the Digital Futures program. You need to enroll and to fill a form, and then we will, thanks to the partnership with MasterCard, we will be able to connect and to give you a personal assessment on where is your SME, where are your gaps, and what do you need to fill those gaps. We decided to create 4 verticals that are the most important technologies that are needed in our sector. The technologies are, first of all, digital payments by far. Second of all, cloud. Third of all, digital marketing. And fourth of all, everything related to artificial intelligence and how through artificial intelligence you can predict in different data-driven models. With those 4, the idea is to train more than 2 million SMEs and then to give them access to digital tools and to keep those tools into their own businesses. Without the power of the SMEs and without them digitized, we cannot talk about a modern tourism sector. I want to finish by telling you that, of course, the UNWTO is here to help. That today I have been briefed on the 3 pillars that I lead inside the UNWTO that are helping to change the vision of the most human economic sector. But remember, that without them, without innovation, without education, without investments, we cannot talk about a sustainable tourism. And without empowering youth, we cannot talk about the tourism sector that is the most important sector for them. I wish you all the best, and I just want to encourage you to join us and to join all the programs that the UNWTO is running today for better, for the good of our society, and of course, for achieving our common agenda, that is the Sustainable Development Goals. Thank you. Hi.
Well, and thank you to these words from Natalia Bayona, and especially as she highlighted, that is quite important to go through the high scalability entrepreneurship, such as the startups here with us today, and as well to the support of the small and medium enterprises, mainly coming from that those technologies that are being developed by great startups and scale-ups, and for sure that might be part of the daily life of tourism and the journey, both for the travelers and for sure for the local communities. Well, now please let me introduce the panelists briefly with these cards here, but afterwards we're going to meet them directly. So we have today Elena Martinez from SOS Carbon. We have Dr. Marie Bertuel from BFC. We have Linda Adame from Quantum Temple. We have Alexander Hofschild from Social B&B and Francisco Benedito from Climate Trade. All of them have been developing different business models, but especially with the aim of tackling real challenges, either if it's about decarbonizing or if it's about providing new experiences with local communities, or if it's going to be related to culture, everything enabled through social impact and through technology. So in this STI forum, let's start with the discussion that I'm pleased to present to all of you. Well, so welcome all of you. Happy to see you again, and after those competitions that we have gathered, and especially after having the opportunity to see from a technical perspective everything that you're doing. So just as a round before starting, let's go with a brief introduction of each of you. Please do not take more than 1 minute on it, that we will have a lot of more time to go. So here to my right hand is Alex. So why don't we start with you?
Okay, Jose, thank you very much. Thanks for having me today. Yeah, my name is Alex from Social B&B. What we are doing at Social B&B is basically linking social and ecological projects, local projects that have a social and ecological impact with the tourism industry. So we have like a marketplace, a booking platform where we empower these local projects to offer their rooms and activities on a marketplace and make them available for travelers worldwide to book, so that travelers have a new local and sustainable experience, and the money the travelers pay really stays in these local communities and help them to provide their project that have a positive impact on the SDGs. So either education, climate action, marine protection, gender equality, and so on. So yeah, that's what we're doing worldwide in more than 45 countries now. We have more than 250 projects we work with together. We're just launching our first impact report about last year, what we've achieved there, and what really happened with the money that was generated over our platform. And yeah, I'm very happy to be here, and we're looking forward to the discussion with all of you.
Thank you very much, Alex. Let's go with Elena.
Hi. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for the invitation. It's a pleasure being here. So my name is Elena Martinez, and I lead the research and development team of the company SOS Carbon. SOS Carbon is a spin-off of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, created to solve the social, economic, and environmental crisis caused by sargassum on the Caribbean coast and to transform it into value chains. Sargassum is a macroalgae that in recent years has been massively invading the Caribbean shores, causing a huge economic and tourist losses, environmental damage, and even health problems. You might have heard recently that a belt of more than 5,000 miles and 10 million tons of sargassum is hitting a stride for us, affecting not just the Caribbean, but also North and South American shores. So how we work? Well, we have patented a technology called the Littoral Collection Module, LCM, that is a hardware that is mounted on traditional fishermen boats and transformed them into cost-effective sargassum harvesters. So this allows us to provide beach environmental sanitation to hotel companies and tourist groups in a safe and environmental friendly manner, while also employing people from vulnerable coastal communities. Currently, the LCMs are deployed in Punta Cana, the Dominican Republic, where we are from, but also in Antigua and Barbuda, and soon it will be in Tulum, Mexico. And in addition to this environmental sanitation and sargassum management, we are currently working to transform this residual material into a raw material from which to obtain sustainable products of commercial interest, create a value chains based on the blue and circular bioeconomy principles, and generate carbon credits. So to summarize, SOS Carbon mission is to provide a sustainable, economic, and effective response to the sargassum crisis, as well as to transform it into solutions that benefit multiple industries, fields, and individuals.
Thank you very much for such a great introduction, and let's jump into Quantum Temple. Linda.
Hello, everyone. Really nice to be here. Thank you so much for the invitation. Again, my name is Linda. I'm the founder and CEO of Quantum Temple. We are a blockchain, impact-driven blockchain company trying to preserve and promote cultural heritage using new technologies. We work in partnership with ministries of tourism and culture and also local cultural heritage practitioners to digitize and tokenize expressions of what we call both tangible and intangible cultural heritage into different non-fungible token-enabled products, such as like digital art, digital goods, and also travel experiences at the destination to really unlock new regenerative funding for the local communities involved. This idea came out after, out of a direct experience during the pandemic when I spent some time in Indonesia. And essentially, I've witnessed the dramatic impact that the pandemic had on the sector, and specifically for the local communities that live from tourism as a source of distribution, which actually just like further exposed other critical challenges that the sector was dramatically facing, despite being cultural tourism being 40% of total tourism, and also the second largest employer in the developing world, especially of young women in rural areas under 35. So really addressing the lack of investment, the lack of finance and access to digital technologies and global distribution by introducing a new technology such as Web3 to really enable access to a new distribution model and revenue streams for the communities involved. And I hope to tell a little bit more about it as we progress in the discussion. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much. And now we jump into climate trade.
Thank you so much for having us here. It's a pleasure to participate again with the UNWTO and with my colleagues here. So basically, Climate Trade, I'm the CEO of Climate Trade. Climate Trade is one of the leading platforms worldwide for decarbonization. So we help every project worldwide that generates carbon credits or that needs investment in terms of generating a positive impact project to be featured, to be showcased in front of whether mainly corporates SMEs worldwide. So we work with some of the biggest corporations in Europe, and at the same time SMEs in every country. We are now with offices in 5 countries, and well, mainly are global, but with offices in the US headquartered. But today we showcase more than 200 projects in the platform, both carbon credits and contribution projects like Sargasso, like projects like saving the corals and any other things that you can showcase there, whether you are in a small startup, whether you are an SME, whether you are an individual, that you have a project that you want to showcase and you are developing. So we help you to whether if you're in the stage of carbon credits or not, we help you to get funded in order to generate that impact that we all need, right? Our software allows as well tourism to integrate the solutions in their processes, in the checkout. So you're basically what we call democratization of climate change. Is a blended finance solution in order to bring funds to all those projects around the world that want to generate that impact, right? So that's basically Climate Trade. And yeah, very happy to be here and to share all this with you guys.
Thank you very much, Fran. And now we go with Marie with BFC.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Marie. I'm a co-founder of BFC, and also I overview the product strategy and development. At BFC, what we do is a paper energy source. So as you can see, it's a tin of paper. We use only biosourced materials, predominantly cellulose and carbon, and then enzymes to convert sugar and oxygen into electricity. It's basically a human on paper. And we use that to enable digital solutions. So electronic platform that allows you to have a different range of sensors, memory, microcontroller, user interaction, and then wireless communication modules. As an example, you can imagine to have this kind of product. It's big, so you can see it, or this tag following your travel and your journey as like a connected tag on your luggage to help you to have your own destination and your own journey within a different country, and let your luggage be handled by the hotel or the airport services. You can also imagine it having it as a health digital device to monitor your health throughout your journey, particularly during pandemic situation that we know as COVID. But it can also help in logistics and reduce your environmental impact indirectly by reducing carbon footprint, by improving your logistics, and also diminishing food waste by improving logistics. So we can intervene at many points of your journey, and also at the point of sale marketing.
Wow, thank you very much for that. And as our audience might be asking on how these different points touch on tourism and on the impact for destinations and communities, let's go a little bit deeper on those business models and the technologies behind. And I would like to pose this question for both for SOS Carbon and for Climate Trade. There's a wide array of manners to address climate change, and it's a question that is quite difficult to solve. But in the practice, can you please deep dive a little bit more on in which of those many paths that we can help for the battle against climate change? Where do you stand, and which is the technology behind to make it possible?
You wanna? Okay, so I can start. Thank you, Jose. For me, it's always about, we have to think always about positive impact, and how do we prove that everything that the funds go to generate that impact, right? So how do we prove that? No? Blockchain is a good technology for that. In terms of transparency and traceability, that's what we embraced blockchain at the beginning of 2017 when we created Climate Coin. So what we thought is, how do we bring those funds in order to the people be able to generate real impact to tackle climate change? So what I think is that the problem we have today is that we have a lot of money that says that goes to climate, but we don't see it for real, right? At the end, we see, there is a lot of money coming from the European Union, a lot of money coming from different countries, from different funds, but do we see it for real? That's what we need. We need to show that success stories. We need to demonstrate that money is going to those projects, because there is a lot of brilliant people like the colleagues I have here today that have super innovative solutions, like brilliant ideas, and they go to the bank and they don't get money. They don't get funded sometimes, no? Because the banks, they want the loan to be repaid, and they don't know if they're going to be repaid. So in that case, we need public funding, but we need also citizens funding. We need corporates funding. So we need to generate that traceability and transparency towards the funds. I think that the solution is obviously bringing all that money to a scaling, potential scaling solutions that can tackle climate change, like we are seeing now. No, carbon capturing is important. We need to put money there because the Moore's law will allow to reduce prices on carbon capturing, and then we will be able to scale it up and capture CO2 at a much lower scale at the same time that we reduce emissions, because this is a mix between reducing and mitigating what we already have as a problem, right? So I think blockchain is very relevant. I think that AI is going to be a revolution as well, and we need to embrace it, and we need to use it for this as well. And I think that we have to showcase all the leading, as you guys are doing, the leading technologies, the leading solutions for decarbonization, and get them funded, right? So yeah.
Thank you very much. So it's about being complementary and at the same time to be comprehensive from a holistic approach of both mitigating, assessing, going into the future in this regard. Thank you for that, dear friend. And from your side, Elena, which is that contribution and for sure the technology behind?
Yeah, for me, the first thing that I think is really important to remember is that being sustainable is a very broad spectrum, and that sustainability and the advantage of these implementations can be obtained from a variety of fields and perspective. Because many times we only associate climate change and sustainability to some type of actions, and really it's a huge environment where you can address different solutions in different points of views. And also always keep in mind the necessity of continued training, learning from other institutions, partner people, in order to optimize the value, but above all, keep an open mind to ideas, collaboration, proposals, and so on, because change is not possible otherwise. We have to be really open-minded in terms of climate change, because we are facing situations that we were not expecting, and we have to be really creative and, what was said before, innovative. And also, of course, funding is really important because the support is really necessary. But there are some other type of actions that can be given from institutions, from other companies that are also important, like, for example, providing free training, creating meeting spaces like this, events, or regulatory policies that are also something really important too, because we have to bear in mind that we cannot only have a quick solution, that of course we need some quick solutions, but this must be beneficial in the long run also. And also understand that one company is not going to be able to solve everything. We have to get a huge collaboration group. We need to have people that can face it, as I say, it's a spectrum, and to cover it, we really need huge companies and associations to be able to cover everything.
Thank you very much, and that was key. That reflection on the SDG 17 on partnership for the goals. Actually, if we do not have collaboration, it's impossible to advance together. And that was the topic that we addressed in depth in our last side event in STI Forum, but the year before. And you said another thing that I would like to stand out, and is that it is not just one formula to find the solution, but it is about having an approach from the back end, from the front end, from social impact, going from the environmental issues. I mean, it's not something that could be just solved in a direct way. And another thing is that open innovation, and that is how we focus in the World Tourism Organization, bringing those solutions that you are presenting here, and for all the audience that you can be presenting to our different innovation programs, so that you can meet those corporations that actually, even if they are so big, they're still looking for new ways of doing different things and to solve them. Well, thank you for those insights. And going a little bit on the side of the energy generation, let me go with you, Marie. Batteries are at the center of environmental issues, while wearables are becoming each time more efficient for travel and for payments facilitation. How can we match these that apparently contradictory phases through your technology? Would you like to elaborate more on that and how make wearables more sustainable for travel?
Yeah, you're definitely right. So what we are facing is a huge demand and huge growth for digital devices and IoT devices in general. We know we are going there, and the status quo at the moment is lithium coin cell or other type of chemistries for batteries, which are environmentally non-friendly. So here, what we provide is a compostable energy solution. It's also incinerable as it is paper-based. And we are basically not adding to, we are reducing and removing a battery that is existing on the market for the devices that are used for a very short amount of time, and that they are the ones that have the most impact because they are used for just a few minutes or a week or so during your, it can be for your travel or any kind of other event. And then they are tossed in the bin. Most of the time, that's where the battery cannot get collected. And if collected, which is very rarely the case, it's very difficult to process and recycle. Then they often end up in landfill or are incinerated. So it's all this, pathways for this type of digital devices, which makes it very environmentally friendly. So that's where we can have a big impact. But because of the form factor also of our product, we can offer more comfort. We can offer a product that is lightweight for transport, particularly something that is non-flammable, non-auto-inflammable. So which means that your transport will also be safe by not starting an explosion or fire. So it's many things. We open new doors, and particularly in transport, in airports, and through this logistic chain, we offer the collection of data as well. So whether it's for health or for logistics, that's where our solution will have this added value. You can basically have this on a piece of paper and provide it to you on your smart app. I don't know if I replied to your question.
Yes, for sure. It's changing the paradigm on how we can take wearables in the most sustainable way, and at the same time, for sure, to not to have that problem amongst the latest technology for making travel facilitation easier, and not having that possibility to use them due to any problems with the waste management. But here you have it. You have seen both challenges, and you have posed such a great solution. Thank you for that. And let's go now from that environmental view, from planet side to the community side. So I would like to ask you, Alex, about the main reason for tourism, and especially how they might be able to directly benefit from the tourism sector. Can you explain more on the impact model that social B&B has? How can we join? How communities can benefit from it?
Thank you. Yes, sure. So for us, this always has been the most important part. Like, we really developed our platform and our services according to the needs of local communities and this local project, as we thought in many destinations, there are areas where those amazing projects or people that have like innovative ideas in sustainability in an ecological way or in a social way, but they're kind of left behind. But this is ideas where everybody can learn from. So we thought this is a great potential to connect them with tourism, where people are around on the one hand to get exchanging what ideas are out there for more sustainability worldwide. and on the other hand, to provide like great experiences and meaningful experiences for travelers worldwide. So for us, it's really important, like the biggest impact I think we can have in tourism industry, to shift kind of the way how the industry thinks and really put like the people, the providers of the touristic product first in the value chain. This is nothing that really has happened the last years, how tourism was developing. I think there's a lot of money pulling out of the destinations again. So this is where we want to have a shift, to really give the power back to the communities, to the projects on the ground, that they have direct access to the market. That's how we do the platform with it, to have like direct contact with them. And yeah, really to let them decide how much tourism do they want, what kind of products do they want to offer, and how does a touristic approach actually can look like on the site. And then it's also important, like, to educate travelers, tourists, right, so that they know how do I behave when I interact with like these local people, and to learn from them, to be open-minded, and to have this exchange, with just amazing thing, and a good amazing thing about tourism in general and about traveling. And that's where we see the whole point in it.
Thank you very much. Indeed, it's something quite clear here. That is that you can have a great idea, you can make it a project, make it a startup, and going beyond. But at the end, if it's not in the market, how can we access both as travelers and as providers? And this is the example from Social B&B. Thank you for that. And going into Quantum Temple, how tourism as the most human economic sector can leverage its impact through those technologies that apparently seem quite far away from tourism experiences. Can you elaborate a little bit more on blockchain and NFTs in this regard? How can we enhance an experience?
Great. Thank you so much for that question. So I think actually even Fran talked a little bit about transparency. So I'll take it from there first. I think UNWTO estimates that one of the big things that I learned even throughout this journey is that despite tourism being a huge economic driver for economies, for countries, for communities, actually, it is estimated by UNWTO that every $100 that are spent on a tour holiday, only $5 are probably staying in that country when that country is a developing country, right? Which is quite remarkable, because if you think about, again, the incredible power that tourism has, like, but is this actually working, in favor of local communities who are, the stewards and fundamentally the host, right, of these experiences? So a technology like blockchain has actually the power to make to enable tourism and consumerism like radically transparent if there's the desire to do so. And that's kind of like the modus operandi that we are abiding, especially within Quantum Temple, to power the cultural tourism sector and really reveal that transparency end to end. What do I mean by this transparency? So throughout our initiatives, we're creating different products and experiences that are essentially enabled by blockchain, such that as the traveler and as a conscious traveler, which is the biggest trend kind of coming out of the pandemic, where 96% of people who travel want to have a positive impact on the destination that they travel to, essentially can discover, learn, and purchase different cultural tourism experiences or products, and they can see exactly how the funds of those purchases are trickling down to the different counterparties involved. So what that entails is actually onboarding the local communities to this new technology, ensuring that they have access. So not only that they learn how this new technology works, but like ensuring that they are in fact enabled to have access to it. So that involves energy, connectivity, which sometimes is a huge challenge, especially for example, in regions like LATAM. And then second of all, in providing that new upskilling on, this new economic and paradigm that are emerging. But for example, in our pilot project that we launched just like less than a month ago, we have worked with the government of Indonesia, the Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy, and 11 different communities based in the island of Bali. And what we were able to demonstrate is by creating these digital artworks, which is using technology, an underlying blockchain application called non-fungible tokens, is that we could enable art collectors, philanthropists, and conscious travelers to purchase this digital art and actually track the end-to-end distribution of royalty and economic streams directly to the counterparties involved, which were these 11 communities that we onboarded onto their first, ever regulated digital crypto wallet in their country. So that's a little bit about. Maybe I'll stop there. If you have any follow-up question, we'll take it from there.
No problem at all. Thank you very much for making it clearer. And because sometimes what we have been asked about here at UNWTO is how we are going to integrate such technologies within the customer journey, and even more when we had that experience of the lockdown and the curfews, and people truly want to go and experience by themselves. But at the same time, we are having that revolution of technology that is not anymore about having artificial intelligence just in imagination, but it's something that we can just use in our daily basis, not anymore just far away from us. So thank you for that. And just want to take up a little bit on these things that you have shared on. For example, which would be the greatest next step that you would need to go through, or that your startups have thought about? I mean, you're already providing solutions to real problems, to those challenges, but many entrepreneurs ask about what is next, and especially when you have a business added value proposal now, how can you scale that for the future? Please, anyone that would like to share your thoughts, what's the next step for your startups?
Well, talking about the scale up, Jose, which is what the startups have to do, no? Jumping in 1 year what other companies do in 10 years, right? So it is about funding. It is very, very, very important, because obviously, even if you want to bootstrap and you want to do something that really has to make a huge difference, normally you need investment, right? Bootstrapping is great, but depends on the path of growth you want to have, right? Depending on the speed of growth you're going to have. If you want to grow very fast, you need funding. So it is important to be in the right places, in the right countries, identify the right strategy. I remember in one scaling up program that we had, we were based in Spain. We were we were born in Valencia in Spain. So I went to a scale up program by different organizations, and it came one big startup that had 200 million revenue already. He said, there are two ways of growing, right? Two ways of scaling up. And he said, made like this, and he said, one is getting new products to the market, another one is getting your product to other markets, right? So our next, let's say, quest is to go as much markets as possible, as more mature markets as possible, because you need to also, your idea has to be evangelized, but it has to be grown in a mature market, because if not, you struggle at some times in terms of revenue, right? So that's our next step, going to more markets, that to get to know climate trade, to get to know what the carbon markets are, what can you do through carbon credits, and to help projects that tackle climate change, to give more reputation to the carbon markets thanks to the new technologies. And yeah, I think that is a combination between that. No, you need to grow your team and to understand and to learn to jump from being a smaller startup to a bigger startup. And whenever you have more people in your organization, it gets a little bit more difficult, and you have a lot of learnings as well from there. So jumping from a startup to a company, I would say, right?
Thank you, Fran. which is the next step of other of you?
So well,
Yeah, so
no, go
every
ahead.
time, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
Everybody wants to talk, so.
Okay. Well, so in the case of SOS Carbon, I think first is raise awareness about the Sargasso situation. What is unknown to people does not exist. And if it does not exist to people, you cannot try to continue and go further because you are not going to have support. And also try everyone to understand how huge this crisis is, and that is not only economically, but also social and environmental. So the first step in taking action is to raise awareness. After that is promoting good practice. What has happened with the Sargasso crisis is that because it was so suddenly, people were not expecting, it has been prioritized acting quickly than acting adequately. So this has resulted in other crises due to poor management. So it has created more environmental problems. And related to this is also the creation of some type of policies, regulations that support when things are being doing properly. So if you show people that they should promote and they should support these activities that are being done in a proper and correctly manner, you are supporting this sustainable process, and you are supporting that the companies that grow must be done the things all right. And also in our case now, what we are doing now, besides, of course, expanding the LCM system, because we want to try to increase the sanitation we are providing, because maybe you have recently heard about, this the 5,000 miles sargassum that is arriving here in the more than 10 million tons. We need to cover more space in order to try to avoid this crisis, but also the transformation part, because we are having a residual material, but can be a raw material. So we need sometimes to change this idea of what a residue is, about what a waste is. And for this is important the support on research and development, that sometimes is a field that is left behind, and the academic investigations, the support to this type of proper research is really important in order to not only solve a crisis, but get a completely value chain around it.
Wow, thank you. I know Marie has lots to say.
Yeah,
research.
I totally agree with you, Elena. Honestly, it's you summarized it perfectly. We need to raise awareness and at the same time have support for innovation, for sure, particularly as a deep tech startup or not. But when we have something very disruptive, how do we raise awareness without falling into greenwashing? Like right now, we are in a situation where we are walking on eggshells as well on the communication, on how do we approach that. I mean, I personally feel where we have to use this word, and then a few months later, oh no, it's not appropriate to say this if you're not above this, or if you're not below this level or whatever. So it's constantly evolving. So I think having a better idea of how to approach the market and how to communicate the value of the product or the services that we are offering through legislations, through certifications, something more and more clear for companies, and particularly for new companies that are emerging, because we are starting, I think would be very helpful for us. Yeah, and then Elena summarized it perfectly, so I have nothing else to add to this. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Linda, Alex?
Yeah, maybe quick from our side. I mean, Quantum Tempo is currently like bringing to market the different products and services that we have, worked for the last year and a half to really think about how do we address the key challenges that the cultural tourism and the communities working in the sector are facing, and really learn from those first pilots, like first use cases, to really understand, like on the one hand, how do we need to iterate them to better serve the communities involved, especially because, as we just talked about, we're introducing new technologies in environments, and sometimes where there there's considerable, digital divide, financial inclusion divide. So there's a lot of work to be done and like learnings to uncover, to really think about then how to scale it across different markets, across different territorialities, geographies that might have similar challenges, but also like fundamentally different applications, right? And we need to be open to that. So scaling is possible, but we need to also like understand the local nuances. And so how do we figure out a model that enables us to do so, but still adapt to local circumstances? And then on the other hand, I think also like when it comes to the adoption of let's say conscious travelers, I think the industry as a whole, the blockchain ecosystem needs to do a lot of work to demystify this technology, right? There's been a lot of different how do I say, like a lot of different perspectives in terms of like how it works and what it does. And I think we need to do a better job at in simplifying those experiences. I think every company in the future is gonna become the same way every company that has elements of digital is a technology company. Every company is gonna become a blockchain company or have elements of blockchain embedded into their operations. So it's just about how do we demystify that and enable value through this technology that consumer can perceive at scale. So that's what we're focused on next.
And Jose, I also have a comment to add to Linda after your comment. It's also I think it goes through education as well with the next generation, because they are the ones that are coming in the workforce and that are bringing this new view, this new talents that we need as well. So yeah, reinforcing this within educational system, I think would be also very valuable to help us scale up faster, because of new technology, like you mentioned, Linda, that are very complex to implement, that are not as easy, and that needs this expertise behind. So reinforcing more of that, more of the artificial intelligence. How do we protect the data that we are collecting and that we want to share or to use? Everything around that. And it's not just about health. It's about it can be performance for sports. The patches can be related to a lot of things. It can be for logistics tracking, and it requires this protection of data as well that needs to be known and implemented.
Wow, so
I don't know if that was clear.
Vision, awareness, and many more on skills development for sure. Alex, any thoughts?
Yes, just a thing I would like to point out is also like when we think about like scaling and growing in the startup ecosystem, it's always like very fast. We're like, okay, startups has to become like the next unicorns, like big companies, global players and stuff, but also especially here in like sustainable business to point out, okay, and we've heard it before, like most of the companies in tourism and that have an impact, I like the SMEs. So kind of to see where can companies like have the impact, and it's also like super fine for like startups to grow to a certain amount, to a certain size, and especially a certain around like impact they have, right? So where can startups actually have like the best impact? It doesn't have to and grow like organically and slowly. So for us, it's important to always keep in mind, okay, how fast can we grow and how big can we grow and still like have this impact that we want to achieve and not like losing track of it. So I think this is something which is really important to keep in mind, and it doesn't always have to be like the goal of like becoming the next like big global player. So for us in our case, like what's really important, like growing with in mind that we have like can achieve the impact that we want to achieve. For us, that means right now that we are also like looking for new markets. So how can we enter like new markets to bring those projects into different markets worldwide to bring them more customers. And we're also working on diversifying like the business models. So from the platform, the marketplace we have in the first place, to cooperate with other distribution channels, for example, travel organizations, tour operators who are looking for like local experiences, not really sure where to find them. That has to be on a certain standard. And as they have like often like worldwide portfolios, they kind of are looking for like easy standardized solutions. So that's where we kind of want to come in and say, okay, we want like a local ecological project where you can do forest walks. For example, in Nepal, we have like a similar one also in Uganda, for example, so that they can like split this experience all over the portfolio. And that's where we can see, yeah, this is what we want to see, to really have like, besides the direct platform where they can get direct bookings, also like different distribution channels if there's communities and projects once with travel organizations. So that's what we are working on. And that's where we also like, which is like crucial in like collaboration, right? To see where collaboration opportunities, new collaboration opportunities in the tourism field, how different stakeholders can work together. Because as we like come from this OTA perspective, like a platform perspective, it's not usually a case where like platforms cooperate with like travel organizations. That's also where we see like potential to make new partnerships that might work. And this can be like a role model maybe for the whole industry.
Well, thank you very much. And against that backdrop of trying to access more markets and to evolve the business model, let me let me share that we just came. I mean, it was in March from the LDC5, the United Nations Conference for the Least Developed Countries, and we have a question here in the chat regarding that and regarding access, and is how, or if your technologies and social impact models are already available in those destinations that are least developed countries or small island development states. You answered a little bit on that, Alex, that you are already working in Nepal. And we got some started from Nepal and from Uganda last time in Doha. But from other of the startups here, are you ready to enter the market in LDCs and seats?
Yeah, for example, in our case, in SOS Carbon, we are already deployed in the Dominican Republic, in Antigua and Barbuda, and soon in Tulum, in Mexico. In the Dominican Republic, in Punta Cana, we are currently working. Every day we deploy more LCM systems with the fishermen that are the ones that work with us. So the social part is also involved in the process. And the system, for example, can even recollect 6 tons of sargassum per day. So yeah, we have complete recollection. In Antigua and Barbuda, the same. We have our system deployed. We mainly work with tourism groups, because as the main affected by in the touristic and the economic part by this crisis. And yeah, we have the availability to continue expanding the systems. And in the research and development field, we continue with the research. We are just starting to develop in the products. First, we are with a biostimulant in order to try to reduce the use of fertilizers on the market. This is already being more or less done. We don't have yet a prototype, but we are going to have it soon. But as it has been mentioned, it's better going slowly and have a proper research and has everything checked, because if we are aiming sustainability, we have to prove and we have to have a background that can ensure that when the product is going to the market, not only in the scaling up process and in the industrial part, but also the results that we are promising, and that the sustainability and the environmental friendly part is already covered. But yeah, with the LCMs, we are already deployed, and with the research and development, we are on it. And also, we have the possibility of selling sargassum. We have been exporting it, for example, for companies like Origin by Ocean in Finland, that they use it to create some cosmetic products. And other companies like Kelpie in Australia that do bioplastics. So yeah, we are already there, growing up slowly, but yeah.
Marie, you had your hand raised.
Okay. So ourselves, we are scaling up. So we are still in that phase of industrialization. Our goal is to reach 1 million of units produced per day early 2024. Yeah, so we are not on the market officially, but with our clients, so we have 10 plus clients at the moment, and what we do is joint development agreements. So we have orders going through this, the different stage of the contract, and that's how our solutions are already entering the market slowly. But because it's also a disruptive solution, we are, as Linda also mentioned, we are looking at the market and trying to put ourselves where we need to be first and where we can enter first, and use the best strategy to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe I can just like add super quick from our side as well. I think the technology, and for a lot of us, like the technology is like totally there, right? Like we're totally like able to provide this solution at scale to even countries, including the LDCs. But the technology implementation is one part. Then there's also like regulatory, other also like policy concerns that you need to address, as a startup, especially if you're bringing a pre-regulatory technology to market. So for example, in our case, the Web3 space being heavily unregulated globally, it's a very fundamental, even for example, for our business model, that we have a strong partnership with regulators and governments. That's why we act in partnership with those institutions in country to make sure, that it is in compliance of like local rules and regulation. And so that's very important, right? And we have seen that obviously there are certain geographies and countries that are a bit more receptive or more have taken a faster leadership into like thinking about these new technologies and welcoming them into their countries. We're very grateful for our partnership, for example, with the government of Indonesia, but also like other countries in Latam, including Panama, for example, that I've really seen the power of the solution and want to also kind of enable these PPPs to address these key challenges that their sector and communities working in the sectors are facing. So definitely, I think for the LDCs, there's a lot to be done. I think for us, it's just like about, again, bringing to market the solution in as many geographies, and then getting there to really work with local communities to provide that inclusion as well.
Thank you very much, Alex. Any last thoughts on that?
Can I just say that also thank you for promoting us from the beginning, because it has done a great job of propulsing us. And I want to mention that because we are citing also, what could be done, what could be improved, and so on. But already this platform for us is doing a lot. And yeah, if ever we can put the word out there, let the organization know, the government, that those certification, those legislation are actually a pain point for us in the start of the company, and that it could help us propose our technology and help our services or sustainable solution to be out faster on the market and more properly on the market. I think that could be very helpful for everyone, and to help us globally to reach our goals.
Thank you very much. Any more thoughts before we close? Seems like, well, Thank you very much for these great insights, and especially as we're in the STI forum in this side event, for sure that we are not talking only about tourism, but about technology and how tourism can be leveraged, but at the same time, how can tourism spread the voice of technology, and both being drivers for sustainable development. And I just would like to sum up with 3 key points, especially technology for good is what we're talking about. And it's a message that we're trying to spread all the time within the World Tourism Organization, member states, and the whole innovation network. Technology for achieving sustainability, technology for allowing the potential of tourism to be broadened and to be of access of many more communities all over the world. Second, for sure that tourism is beyond travel, and it covers so many more topics and many sectors. You have seen that we have been talking here about energy, about waste management, about NFTs, about decarbonization, about financial support or inclusion within the value chain for communities. So just this is an opportunity with you, all the audience here, to think about tourism beyond, and as a way to leverage many other things for good. And the third part is about being able to achieve the SDGs based on the public and private partnerships, on an open innovation approach, and that we can keep collaborating together. Please keep up on working with such great initiatives. Greeting from all our Secretary General, Executive Director, or Director of Innovation, Education, and Investments. See you in another event that just offline, we are going to have the opportunity to keep interacting and for sure to keep advancing on these great models. Thank you very much to all, and you will have the opportunity to have this recording in our YouTube channel. And please just remember that we do not have just a single program at UNWTO, but we have many of them for startups, for small and medium enterprises, for investors, for corporations, and for all the stakeholders. Thank you very much, and see you in next opportunities.
Thank you so much, Jose.
Thank you so much for the invitation.
Thank you very much. See you soon.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.